Cimoooooooo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second and final semifinal match of the 2020 YugiTuber Grand Championship. Joseph, oh boy, if that first semifinal match was anything emblematic of what this one is going to be, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, the last match, if you haven't watched it, I really would recommend you pause this video and go check that one out. It was an absolute cluster, made all the worse by the intervention of our fantastic resource judge number 1245, aka Distant Coder. This match will be nowhere near as high-powered as the two individuals in this game, Farfa and Ruggles, each had their respective communities donate in order to pick individual cards in their decks. And if you know anything about Farfa and Ruggles' community, I am sure their decks are full of garbage.
Oh, absolutely. And so to inform the viewers what happened, what we're doing is we're actually playing by the Pegasus challenge. For those of you unfamiliar, every standby phase, there's going to be an effect declared by Resource Judge 1245 in the chat, so keep an eye on that, and that's going to immediately resolve. You can't respond to it, you can't, like, negate it or anything. It's just going to happen. It looks like the first effect here is going to be reasoning. Both players going to declare a level for the opposite player, and if they call it right, that monster will be sent to the graveyard. If they call it wrong, that monster will be special summoned to either player's field. Both Ruggles and Farfa also had their respective audiences doing the deck building for Black Lives Matter charities, which is incredible during this time. So they raised a huge sum of money. Big shout outs to both of them and their communities. They came up with this idea last second, and couldn't be happier for the Yu-Gi-Oh community at a point like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fantastic work from the pair of them. Unfortunate that Pacifist the Phantasm City has been sent to the graveyard here, but excited that we will get to see the most powerful monster in the game, Kuriboh, summoned to Ruggles' side of the field.
Yeah, this is pretty funny. Ruggles actually calling correctly on the reasoning, but he gets Kuriboh here, and that's going to be paired with Diane Keto, the Cure Master. Going to increase his Ruggles life points by 1,000. We can see how much Ruggles' fan base really does adore him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is before the glow-up, of course. Old Diane Keto doesn't really pack the same punch as the Rush Duel Retrain.
I don't know. I mean, I still think she's a perfectly fine card. I don't think we need the retrain. But nonetheless, Silverfang Regeki, eat your heart out. We have Kuriboh Diane Keto. Set another monster pass. Doesn't get more top-notch than this level of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Alright, so what's going to happen this turn? Summon limits. So Farfa's fantastic deck full of absolute garbage will be unable to perform more than 2 summons this turn. Looks like that's fine with him, as he just performed 0.
Yep, looks like he's just going to pass. And now Cyberjar activating for the effect during Ruggles' turn. That's going to destroy all monsters on the field. Bye-bye, Mystical Sheep number 2. Both players going to reveal the top 5 cards of their deck, special summon all, well, in this case, for Farfa, all 5 of them, because if they're level 4 or lower, you get to summon them in either face-up attack or face-down defense. Looks like Ruggles is only going to get 2, but he does get to add the other 3 cards to his hand, so he's really not missing out on any advantage here.
Man, I feel so bad for Ruggles. His community put him on Gemini, Elf, Turbo, and Farfa's over here with Sky Striker, Ace, Ray. Yeah, this is going to be a fair one.
Now, to be fair, we don't know if Farfa has the Sky Striker Link monsters in his extra deck as we see Ruggles drop down this volcanic rocket. Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out once these attacks go through, I imagine, but we're going to see Ruggles attempt to go to the battle phase here, I imagine, and no target for the volcanic rocket, I might add you, so it's still just a 1900 beater. Can't even get over that Master Pendulum. What good is that?
Wow, shouts out to Pain96. Unfortunate that Ruggles wasn't playing the Egyptian God cards. Maybe Raw will make an appearance regardless. These digital bugs being walked over. Shouts out to the individual who apparently donated about $50 to get Farfa to play literally every digital bug ever printed, which I think is like 4 total.
Now, it looks like the answer has come, and it looks like Farfa does have Sky Striker Link monsters in his extra deck, which is so unfortunate for Ruggles that Farfa actually has a comprehensive strategy. We're going to see Ruggles fire down this copy of Exchange, so maybe Ruggles will be able to dismantle what Farfa has going on here. Ruggles has only half the amount of cards in his hand that Farfa does, so we're going to see what he takes. Going for Gores, the Emissary of Darkness. Talk about a throwback.
I like this out of Ruggles. If your deck is full of literal garbage, then your opponent can't possibly take any good cards from Exchange. It's pure advantage.
So this is hilarious. Farfa's going to take the copy of Ray in Ruggles' hand. Ruggles revealing in the chat that he doesn't have any targets. How is this fair, exactly?
Wait, so now we're just going to be able to summon Kagari, and from here we go into Shizuku, then we go into Access Code. I've seen this play before. I watch Ryan Yu.
Oh my god. Now we're going to go back to Farfa's turn here. The Pegasus rule is going to be Lavaval Chain. Oh my god. Talk about some of the most powerful effects in the game. Now, relatively speaking, there's much more devastating effects, but Lavaval Chain's the strongest effect that you have some semblance of control over. Being able to stack your deck with any card on top, or being able to Foolish Burial anything. There's a reason this card is banned, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you think, Alex? Can we bring it back?
No.
Shockmaster tier of broken in terms of rank 4s. It looks like Farfa's going to send a copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion, and I wonder if he's actually playing any Thunder Dragon Fusions. Ruggles is actually scrying a card to the top of his deck, an Arch Nemesis Eschatos. Wow,
Yeah,
that showed up big in our previous semifinal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a pretty decent card for what it's worth. We are going to see Farfa tribute for a copy of Batteryman Charger. He's going to use the effect, so he actually has synergies. Man, Farfa's community must love him way more than Ruggles' but Batteryman Charger is kind of the focal point of the Batteryman OTK, which is a deck that I should not know any knowledge about. But basically, on summon, you get to special summon a Batteryman from your deck, which you can bring out a copy of 9-Volt. There he is. And if Farfa has the next target, you'll be able to get a copy of Fuel Cell, which if you control 2 or more Batterymen, and it looks like he does, look at that, you get to special summon that to the field as well, and you just get to get in for an absolute ton of damage.
What the heck? What is he, just gonna go to Appaloosa here? This is completely coherent. Where's the Gladiator Beast Andals? Where's the rocket with no targets?
And
wait, 5?
Oh no.
My god!
5-headed Link Dragon. This is a Towers. How is this fair?
Wait, this card's TCG translation is literally 5-head?
Yeah, that sounds about right for Konami.
Oh, wow. Well, okay, 5-headed Link Dragon is a card that Ruggles has no hope of outing with any of the cards in his deck. However, he's not going to have to out it on his own. 5-headed Link Dragon does get removed from the field once you can no longer fulfill its condition, which is banishing 5 cards from your graveyard face down every one of your end phases. So all he's got to do is live 2 turns.
Yep, looks like Max C is going to be the Pegasus rule for this turn. Ruggles won't be able to make much headway if that's the case, but yeah, I mean, he's going to have to just stall out. He has a lot of monsters. Luckily, 5-head, even though it has 5 heads, can only attack 1, so that's not exactly flavorful. But that's exactly what Ruggles needs at this point to be able to actually kind of just not instantly lose to this card, but he's going to just have to hope that Farfa runs out of cards in the graveyard and he's able to mount some sort of comeback.
Totally, absolutely disrespectful. The Pacifist of the Phantasm City is being banished face down right now. I don't think Ruggles was ever expecting to have to special summon in the first place. It turns out when your deck is full of literal garbage, Maxi is not that big of a deal. We're going to use Thunder Dragon Fusion here to get a copy of Dragon Roar to hand, then Roar's effect to put back the Thunder Dragon Fusion. Will we see a summon of twin-headed Thunder Dragon?
That's frightening. Now, we did see that an effect would be activated in the battle phase, and that effect is Arrival Rivals. This allows both players to normal summon a monster in the battle phase, which is right at this moment. What we did was, for the battle phase effects, we want it to be a surprise, so you're not going to know what it is prior. Otherwise, if the effect was negative, then you would just not go to battle phase. So that makes it a little bit more exciting. Farfa's going to normal summon a copy of Hanewada, and Ruggles is going to decline to normal summon anything, and we're just going to see the 5-headed Link Dragon walk over this volcanic rocket with ease. We're going to go to main 2, tribute the Hanewada for Dynamite Knight. Talk about the synergy. Look at all these playable cards Farfa has. This is absurd.
Look, he's staring down a Nordic Alfar. Cup of Ace being activated for the Pegasus challenge. Ruggles is going to flip a coin, and if he calls it right, draw a couple of cards. Something's got to out this board.
And it's heads! Ruggles gets the draws! That's pretty good, because if he got it...
Easy.
If it was wrong, Farfa would be drawing 2 cards. So in this case, when you're staring down a 5-headed dragon, a couple extra cards is actually going to be exactly what you need here. So hopefully that's going to help him out. We're going to see if that matters. He's going to tribute his set Spirit Reaper. That has battle protection, but here's Blue Eyes White Dragon instead.
Wait. This is actually really good. It walks over this copy of Dynamite Knight without triggering its effect. Is Blue Eyes White Dragon playable in this instance?
I mean, that's also assuming that Farfa actually has cards that synergize with Dynamite Knight. Considering the rest of his deck, he probably does. But you gave up a Spirit Reaper in defense mode. I don't know about that. 5-headed Link Dragon can't get over Spirit Reaper, so maybe that was a bit of a misstep, but we get to see Blue Eyes hit the field, so it's pretty fun regardless.
One thing you find out a lot if you play a significant amount of these please break this format type formats is that face down cards like Marshmallow and Spirit Reaper have the potential to break open formats without removal. This turn it looks like Heat Wave, the activation, and that's going to prevent Farfa from summoning any effect monsters whatsoever. I think he's the only one who would be hurt by that effect anyway.
Yeah, I mean, 5-headed Link Dragon's going to walk over the Blue Eyes. Ruggles is going to take 2,000 damage, which is fine, but this is going to pretty much allow the Link Dragon to be gone during this end phase. If Ruggles just pretty much sets and passes here, he really doesn't have to do much.
Not.
But painful choice being the activated Pegasus effect this turn, which could not have come at a worse time for Ruggles.
No.
Although it's great because it's on his turn, he gets to capitalize on that painful choice activation. Farfa gets to load his graveyard from the 4 other cards that are going to get discarded to the graveyard. So that's actually probably the worst possible timing for a card like this to be activated.
I gotta say, I do like a tale of 2 decks being shown here. Ruggles is sending a bunch of integral combo pieces and outs to 5-headed dragon alongside Hamburger Recipe, and Farfa is sending every bad card in his deck.
Now, the nice thing is, Ruggles does get a bit of synergy here, right? He gets the Eldritch Golden Lord engraved, which is pretty good. Hamburger Recipe going to Ruggles' hand, going to be able to enable his signature Link monster, but does he have the Ritual monster in hand? That is the question. We're going to see what Ruggles opts to keep for Farfa here, and it looks like he's going to allow him to keep one of the digital bugs. We're going to attempt to summon this Golden Lord, but that's going to be immediately met by Solemn Strike. Widespread Ruin, man, it's been a minute since I've seen that. But here we go now. Arch Nemesis Achado's going to hit the field, going to give Ruggles a bit of a wall and buy him another turn from this 5-headed Link Dragon here. And oh man, here it comes.
Let's go. Hamburger Recipe hits the field. Gores goes to the graveyard. And the Hungry Burger in attack position. I don't know about that one, Ruggles. You might be taking 3,000 damage on the crackback.
Yeah, I agree. It also puts another card in Farfa's graveyard, which is not optimal because that essentially gives 5-headed Link Dragon another turn to set up, and I think you're just trying to keep as many cards out of Farfa's graveyard as possible. So, a bit of a misstep, but Ruggles is a man of the memes, so he's just having a blast playing this.
Wow, I just cannot believe that I ever chose to stand Ruggles when he would play so suboptimally in such a serious match. His semi-final life is on the line. Giant Trunade, the activation, and Ruggles is the only one with set spells and traps. I am so sorry, but you will have to take the Hungry Burger comeuppance this turn.
Now, I don't think it really matters too much. Obviously, 5-headed Link Dragon is just going to slam into this Hungry Burger regardless because it's unaffected by all other card effects, but we're going to see. Maybe it matters. Farfa's going to just set a couple cards here and pass the turn. Ruggles going to draw for turn, and this turn, Abyss Dweller, actually probably one of the worst effects for Ruggles here because now he can't get his Golden Lord back from the graveyard. We already know he had the set spells and traps from last turn, so that's so unfortunate. It looks like Ruggles is just going to set 2, 3, 4 back row and pass the turn. This 5-headed Link Dragon is going to banish another 5 for its end of phase maintenance cost, and one more turn and Ruggles will have actually managed to survive the wrath of this card.
This 5-headed Link Dragon has stayed along on the field for far too long. I was predicting that it would go to the graveyard 8 turns ago, it feels like. It's chewed through just about everything in Ruggles' deck, but pretty shortly he'll be able to mount a defensive of his own, not staring down the wrath of the Big 5.
Now, stumbling is going to be the Pegasus rule for this turn, but that doesn't matter because even though it switches all special summon monsters to defense mode, or even normal summon for that matter, Link monsters cannot go to defense. So we're going to see Farfa
is this lethal?
It could potentially be. We're going to see the 5-headed Link Dragon slam over Achados, and then we're going to have Kagari come in next, but Paleozoic Dynamish is coming in clutch, pitching the Malicious, which it's a Highlander format, so that's about as useless as it gets. Kagari's going to survive, or excuse me, Ruggles is going to survive. Farfa's just going to set a card and pass here, and Ruggles has successfully navigated his way around this 5-headed Link Dragon with only 900 life points. Shockmaster the Pegasus rule for turn. They're going to roll a die and see what gets locked down.
Oh god, if he gets monsters, that's the end of the game.
It's
oh,
a
thank
4.
God, okay.
Okay, so it's spells. Now, unfortunately, Ruggles is just going to set and pass. This Link Dragon will finally go to the graveyard, so I don't think he's out of it just yet. Obviously, you'd want to have some sort of defense when Farfa has at least one set monster here. We're going to see the Shallow Grave for the effect this turn. Both players get to
pretty
special
sure that
summon.
monster can't be in face-down defense position.
Yep, it is a Link monster, so that is not allowed. Looks like Farfa's going to, instead, when he's actually being serious, pick the Dragon Dark, and we're going to see Ruggles opt to pick... he was thinking about Hungry Burger, but actually going for Marshmallow, and that's actually pretty good. It is indestructible by battle. It also burned Farfa for a K on top of it. So if Farfa doesn't have removal, this could be a pretty solid way to stall out for a bit.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, in a lot of these formats where you're not actively looking for removal, these can wall the game up, but Heavy Storm will go pretty far in equalizing the board state.
Well, in terms of equalizing, I wouldn't exactly call it that, because Ruggles is definitely losing out on a lot here, and Farfa losing Waking the Dragon, does that trigger? I guess he counts as an opponent. Well, that's unfortunate for Ruggles. He's going to attempt to summon this copy of Orbital Hydrolander here, but Waking the Dragon...
That's not legal.
Yeah, Waking the Dragon does not ignore summoning conditions, so unfortunately that isn't going to work. That would be really sick if it could, though. Instead, Farfa's going to go digging for something else. It looks like he's going into... was going to the extra deck, but now he's going to go into the main deck. Now back into the extra deck, and there is Last Warrior from Another Planet, going to wipe Farfa's board, but prevents either player from summoning. Looks like these players might be at a bit of a standstill here, because even if Farfa attacks, Marshmallow can't be destroyed by battle, and there really isn't going to be much that's going to be going on here.
Yeah, Last Warrior is like a fun monster you can cheat out, and there's no shortage of decks that attempt to do so. It doesn't require a specific summoning condition, which makes it different than almost all others, but it does wall up both players. Card Destruction will apparently remove the out from Farfa's hand. The Sky Striker Mobilize Widow Anchor.
It was the Widow Anchor, yes.
I think that now the two of them are going to stare at each other for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, Farfa could go to battle phase here and at least get the Marshmallow face up, but for whatever that's worth, I mean, it's not really going to do a whole lot because Farfa's just going to take 1,000, and they're just going to be at parity until one of them can remove either of these monsters from the field. Creature Swap going to be the effect this turn.
Oh, no!
So Ruggles has
does that actually change anything?
I don't think it does. I mean, I guess if Ruggles has a way to out his own Marshmallow, I guess he can get Farfa on a 2-turn clock, but... that's it. It looks like he's just going to pass, unfortunately. With only 2 cards in hand to Farfa's now 7, there's not really going to be as much he can do here.
Oh, and it looks like Disencoder is saying a very funny effect will happen in the battle phase. Farfa goes to battle phase, but with no attack position monsters, will not be able to trigger Transmission Gear.
Yeah, it looks like Transmission Gear allows players to play a game of rock, paper, scissors, and the loser banishes the battling monster they control face down. So, could have actually broken parity here, but unfortunately Farfa not choosing to switch that Marshmallow into attack mode. Definitely the correct move here. Share the pain, the Pegasus rule. So both players going to lose both monsters. Here comes Gellin Duo, and wait a minute, is this game?
Yeah, no, we've got Gellin Duo, we've got Lord in the Graveyard, that's 35 plus 70. No, Ruggles, no!
He didn't go, and he went to the battle phase.
No, he was playing around Tragodia.
Apparently he was playing around Tragodia, so now Tragodia hits the field. Farfa has 6 cards in his hand, so this Tragodia is on 3,600 attack. This is huge here. Anime Card of Sanctity is going to be the Pegasus rule this turn. Guess what? Farfa's already on 6 cards, so Ruggles is going to get a +5 for absolutely free.
That's fantastic, but doesn't resolve the scenario on board, which is that this Tragodia will just take Gellin Duo and win the game on its own. He's got to draw, what, Battle Fader? Trent? Probably not going to do it.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see Farfa fire off this Cosmic Cyclone just to make sure everything's clear. It was a Mirror Force that actually would have mattered significantly and could have won him the game. I guess he would have just lost his own Gellin Duo in the process, but still, that could have been the determining factor, or at least made this go on a little bit longer, but Farfa's going to win game 1, and we are going to go straight into game number 2. Ruggles is going to opt to go, or excuse me, Farfa's going to opt to go first here, which means Ruggles let him go first? That's interesting. Yeah. Maybe he values the extra card?
I love doing this. When my deck is terrible and my opponent's is just as bad, the extra card really can't be understated. Looks like All Out Attacks is the activated card here. Ruggles, it's time to fire off the Trent FTK.
All right, so he's going to start off the Trent FDK with a copy of Ukazi that's going to deal 800 to Farfa. So we
a tenth of the way there.
Yep, and Sparks is going to go ahead and get us an eighth of the way there by doing an extra 200. We've used 2 cards to deal 1,000 damage. A single Diane Keto could counter that instantly. And now we're going to see Ruggles set a card and pass. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Trent FDK. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, can we pad this out to an additional 10 minutes? Oh boy. Well, Farfa, the world is his oyster, provided he's not too scared of that set card. It looks like Sky Striker Mobilize engage the activated effect this turn, but for any archetype, any archetypal card whatsoever to both players' hands.
This is so busted. There's so many cards that actually belong to an archetype that are just going to warp this game. It's funny because Ruggles almost got 3 spells into the grave, so I think he would have drawn an extra card from this. I'm not sure if they would have ruled it that way, but it looks like, according to Kevin, that they would have, so that's hilarious. It looks like Farfa's going to go ahead and add Servant of Endymion, and Ruggles is going to add Stratos. Both of those belong to archetypes, and those are pretty solid picks, I must say.
Is Trent not an archetypal monster? That's frustrating.
Yeah.
Trent retrain archetype when? Servant comes down after comes down Master. Are we just playing Pendulum?
I guess we're just going to Pendulum Summon here. Looks like we're going to go for Arima, and we're going to go for Union Driver, as well as Mech Knight Purple Nightfall. That's going to go back to Farfa's hand, though, because Scale 8 is what Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic, says for scale. We're going to flip Crush Wyvern here, go to Battle Phase. That's a lot of damage. 12, 17, and 21. That's, I believe, 5,000?
Yeah, in these really bad card mirrors, apparently it is not 5,000, 2,100 going back at Farfa, and that burn is adding up. In these dingus mirrors, sometimes you get there just by summoning a whole bunch of monsters using pendulums. This turn, an effect will be applied during the battle phase. Well, if I know Ruggles, he's gonna go for it.
I think so. We're going to see Stratos be normal summon. Here we're going to grab a copy of Avion. That's how you know how deep he is on the amount of playable hero monsters in his deck. Maybe we'll see a Flame Wingman. Who knows? That would actually be pretty epic. Axe of Despair. Honestly, in a format like this, I don't mind this.
That's almost unbeatable. I mean, what are you going to do? Get to a 6 material Endymion and get over it? All right, let's see what's going on in the battle phase.
All right, so we're going to attack into the Union Driver. That's going to deplete Farfa of 700 more life points. End of battle. No way. Is it evenly matched? Evenly matched!
Yes! So this will extend the game by a couple of turns. By activating evenly matched, of course, Farfa is going to lose both of his scales, electing to keep both of the 4-star monsters on his side of the field. Makes sense. You can go into whatever 4s your fans have gifted you. But we also will not have to deal with Master at any point this game.
Now, Joseph, I don't mean to cut you off or anything, but we have Sixth Sense being activated here, probably one of the most powerful cards of all time. Both players are going to roll a die. They're both going to declare 5 and 6, because if they call it correctly, they get to draw either 5 or 6 cards, depending on what the die rolls. But if they don't, they're just going to be milling cards equal to the roll. But it does not matter, because you just want to get the draw. It's literally no downside, and honestly, a card that should have never been printed.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. It was a very skillful card during a very skillful format. It looks like Farfa doesn't have enough skill, and that's why he rolled a 1, and subsequently had to mill a copy of Altergeist Multifaker.
Yeah.
Ruggles rolled a 4, and mills 4. That's much better for him than for Farfa. We'll see how this plays out, I assume.
Ruggles actually milled some pretty decent cards. Blacklist, oh my god. So Farfa milled the Dark Necessary to be able to summon this copy of BLS. That is absurd.
This is just lethal.
Yes, all he has to do is just go in here and there's nothing left. He's just, he's
going
banishing
for
the
the
Stratos?
banish?
Why? That he has game.
Wait, did Farfa miss lethal? Oh, wow. This is missing lethal turbo here.
Wait, he's getting rid of his monster.
Oh!
He's gonna go for a normal summon copy of Sphere Mode. He's gonna...
Oh my god! Oh...
This is absurd!
He's writing the summoning chant in chat!
That is insane!
Great beast of the sky, please hear my cry. Fun fact, you contribute your own monsters for Sphere Mode! Oh my god...
This is hilarious. He just summoned the Winged Dragon of Ra, had lethal, but decided, you know what? Forget that. We're gonna flex, go into Ra, and we're gonna win like we should. This is incredible. I cannot believe we are witnessing this right now.
I mean, some things are more important than lethal, Alex, and summoning the Winged
Dark
Dragon of Ra.
Hole!
Wait, that's fine. Winged Dragon of Ra's Divine Hierarchy is too. It'll be fine.
Yeah, not in this game it's not, because you are thinking of the anime effect, my friend, and this is why the gods are not as powerful as everyone wants them out to be. If Ruggles can find a way to win this, I would absolutely lose it. Inspector Border's a very good start, but that's most likely going to be all he has for the turn. He's going to go to battle phase, swinging for 2k, going to most likely pass it back. Here comes Farfa's turn now. Graceful Charity for both players. That's pretty good. Obviously, Ruggles has more cards, but Farfa being able to go 3 deeper could be exactly what he needs. Ruggles just getting some absurdly powerful cards out of his hand, being Legendary Fisherman and Elemental Hero Avion. Obviously, planned 3 turns in advance when he's searching up that Stratos. We're going to see what Farfa decides to go for here next. He's going to get rid of a copy of Meluseek, as well as a Hero Lives. He's just going to go ahead and T-set and pass here. Ruggles might be able to force a game 2 here. Kaiser Coliseum isn't going to allow him to advance the game state, though, unfortunately, and he's just going to swing over this Inspector Border.
I mean, this certainly seems like a good position for Ruggles, right? I mean, all he's got to deal with is this 1-set card.
No! Magic Cylinder going to end it off. Oh my god, that is amazing. So just like that, Farfa is going to 2-0 Ruggles and get to his 3rd YugiTuber Grand Championship Finals. Unbelievable. What a great show, and for a great cause. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. That was insane. Joseph?
Ruggles, you put up a good fight. You were a valiant duelist, but you just can't stand up to the power of the Winged Dragon of Ra and the subsequent most powerful card ever printed, Magic Cylinder.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you in the finals.